first. Clientele mastery. And I call it this honestly because there is actually a way to master your clientele building, which a lot of hairstylists never, ever, ever learn. And I'm gonna tell you what mastering it is. Mastering your clientele is making it where you actually don't have to advertise anymore, and you can your clients see your value, and they move with your business as your business moves. So let's talk about what's not mastering the clientele. Okay, having a big clientele and you have really low prices, not mastering clientele. Yes, so we want to be able to go up on our prices when we want to. We want to. If we want to move our business to another salon, we want our clients to be on board with that. We don't want to hear I'm not following you. So we want to learn how to master the clientele. And all you're going to do with mastering your clientele is make it where you are a hard act to follow. When I was doing hair in the salon every day, by the time I was 24, I felt like I had mastered my clientele. And the reason why I felt like that was because I had about 500 or 600 people whose hair I did by the time I was 24. And so on one note, I had mastered my clientele building because I could build my clientele to such a large number of people and still service them on my my pattern, I'm going to say, because I would have them on a regimen as to when they're going to come back. And I made sure that their hair lasted long enough to accommodate my schedule for them. So if I tell you you're going to come back in 10 weeks, you're going to come back in 10 weeks. I had a big clientele, but what happened was when I wanted to go up on my prices, a lot of my clients started to get upset. This is all before I knew how famous and, you know, how a lot of people wanted to take my class and stuff. Only class I was doing at the time was teaching my staff how to do my clientele. And so when I got to the point where I didn't want to offer $25 retwist at the salon anymore, a lot of the clients started to, and not necessarily my clients who here I did, but just the clients who came to the salon. I guess they were coming for the special. So they got a little upset when we didn't have the special anymore. And so we didn't go up. We decided to stay at the 25. Everybody was loving it, so we didn't want to really bother that. But me as a business owner, I needed to change that because it was not paying me enough right now. And another thing is that my stylists, really because my stylists were not upselling. The idea was to get the person in the shop for $25 and then to get them to get their hair in a style so that it could be regular price. You know, starting at $55 back then, and the basket weave was like $85, the tornado was like $100. So we wanted to get the client in for the $25. And then we could just go from there. So we're talking about the clientele building strategy that I was using. So rather than stop the $25 retwist, what I did was I started training my staff a lot more on styles. And so we started doing like freestyle Mondays where a person could come in, everything was $25, including the style. The only catch was that you could not pick it. The stylist had to pick it so that they could practice. And so, you know, that was good. It started the staff doing more upselling and everything was fine. So that was one of my big clientele building strategies, which was to offer a ridiculously low price for a service in the hopes that the person would actually choose one of my other services or, you know, do some type of upsell. And it worked out great. It actually made my salon one of the most famous salons in the city, and it got people talking about us. Now, some people were saying, oh, I love the prices. I love that shop. Some people were like, oh, they over there trying to lowball and, you know, do all of this stuff, but they didn't know it was just a strategy. It wasn't like we were saying we're lower than the competition because we weren't. Just our one service was like how McDonald's has a $1 menu. There's a few items on here that's $1. But if you still want a Big Mac, you don't have to get anything on a $1 menu. It's your choice. So that was one of the strategies that I have used to build my business. Another strategy that we used was once the client comes into the salon, we want to make sure that they understand that we are the expert because there's so many stylists out here who have no clue what they're doing or how to do locks professionally. When you got into my shop, the first thing you did was you went to the sink, and I had 2 assistants who washed hair, so you didn't wait. And I actually gave them an instructional on how to wash hair so they could do it quickly. Okay, so we did a no line, no wait, $25 retwist clientele building strategy, and it worked. Okay, the other thing that we did as a strategy was to train everybody in the salon so that the clients did not have to wait for one specific person. And if they did want to wait for that person, then they could not do the $25 special. So it was just a walk-in special. And walk-in meant that whoever was next was going to do your hair. You did not get to choose. Okay, so I got the client into the salon with the $25. They did not have to wait. They got their hair washed. And now they go to the next person who is not busy. So we're talking about no line, no wait, and a nice introductory price to build the clientele. Okay, the other thing was to educate them on the condition of where their hair was. A lot of people's hair was not healthy. The other thing that we did as a building clientele building or retaining strategy was to focus on hair care very much. And once again, that's all being a hard act to follow because most of the time when a person came into my salon, the first thing they would say is, I have never gotten my scalp greased ever. Y'all wash my hair so good. The girl who usually washes my hair has got me out to thinking about 5 minutes. You know, and so with us, once you got into the salon, you pretty much was going to be hooked because we were doing things as normal salon procedure that most shops did not do. So when we talk about building clientele, once I get you in my door, it's my job now to wow you so much that you ask for some cards or flyers, or you're so excited about your hair that you're talking to everybody you know. Plus, another strategy was to do styles that everybody could not do so that your client would have something that other people with locks have never seen, and then they would ask that person who did your hair. And they would say, yo, they got a $25 retwist special. You could just go try them. Okay, so it all worked all together to make my clientele be in the 800s. I don't know anybody who's ever had a clientele with that many people. So it was working. So let's talk about the consultation. Okay, so usually when you have a new client, a lot of people, they'll just make an appointment, let the client come in, that's it. I don't recommend doing that. And don't get me wrong, you can take them, you know, because I used to tell people you don't have to come in for a separate consultation. A lot of stylists just schedule a consultation and that's all they're doing that day. What I used to do was have them to come in about 20 minutes before the appointment so I could talk to them about their hair. Talk to them about what it is that they're looking for from their hair. So most people are looking for a new stylist because they either don't like how the stylist styles their hair, they either do it too tight, their hair is breaking and the stylist has not mentioned it. A lot of times clients with locks, maybe one of your locks fell out while you were getting your hair done and the stylist didn't mention it, so you didn't want to go back. So this is why people were coming to me a lot of times, and this is what I found out in my consultation. So I definitely wanted to know what brought them into the salon today. So I want y'all to write that down if you're taking notes. One of the first questions you're going to ask the client, what brought them in today? And what you're looking for from them is those answers that I just said. Was their hair too tight? Did their stylist not know how to style? Were the styles just outrageous? Did you feel like they were too young for you or feel like they were too old for you? These little questions right here is going to allow me to know exactly how to please this client. Okay? So the other thing I want to make sure I find out in the consultation is what is their budget? Okay? So now, because I had $25 retwist, if you didn't have a lot of money, you could get that retwist and maybe a conditioner or something and still go out looking nice. So the price. Also, I wanted to see what kind of styles they actually like. Do they wear their hair up? Do they wear it down? Do they like curls? Do they like barrels? Do you like fishtails? Do you like goddess braids? Do you like your hair in a bun in the back or in a bun on the top? So these are the things I'm trying to find out in my consultation. Also, where do you work? I want to know where they work so I can know how outrageous I can be. I'm not going to recommend that my client who works in a corporate office get a red color because she's probably not going to be able to go to work with that. I've actually had a client who she got the yarn locks, which took me all night because she made an appointment around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She wanted it done the same day. I stayed up 8 hours, fell asleep. My daughter fell asleep, everything in the salon, got up, finished her hair, and she went to work the next day and they made her cut it out. And I charged her $650. Now, in the consultation with her, I did ask her where she works and asked her if they were okay with her having these platinum yarn locks in her hair. And she said yes, but apparently they were not okay with it. And they said basically either cut that out or you're fired. So, you know, in consultations, this is the stuff that we want to ask. We also want to protect clients against themselves in the consultation. Sometimes you're going to get that client that is a product junkie. So you want to know, what did you put on your hair? Before somebody can tell you how to fix anything on your hair, you need to know what they put on their hair first. So like even on Facebook, you see a lot of people asking questions. Is rose water good? Or rice water or whatever. And I'm just like, good for what? Finish the statement. How can I tell them if rice water is good for their hair if I don't even know what they're trying to use rice water for? I need to know so that I can give an informed decision. So when we do our consultations, we really want to ask the questions that's going to get the client talking. Some other things we want to pick up on with our client is just what type of person are they? Are they a wild person? Are they calm and mild-mannered? Are they somebody who doesn't like a lot of noise? Are they somebody who doesn't mind being around kids? You want to know all of this stuff because in the salon, you mix people together all the time. And sometimes it's not good to bring the older crowd in with the younger crowd or, you know, just different things like that. So these are some of the questions that you want to kind of address in your consultation. So you not only know what the client wants done to their hair, you know what day they want to come and you know what kind of atmosphere they're going to be comfortable in. All these things is going to allow you to be able to give this client what they're exactly looking for. And then some things that they never expected because we're talking about clientele mastering. So I got to the point, and this is how I got to 800 clients because when you came to my shop, I automatically became your hairstylist. This automatically became your shop. So if you get clients in there and they're not coming back, we got to go back in here and go back to clientele mastery and check out some of the things that you may not have done that the client wasn't wild or they wasn't. And sometimes the client is happy with their hair, but they ain't like your shop. Or you work with guys and they just not comfortable around there or something. So we want to make sure that in the consultation, you also come across as a listener. I've seen stylists do consultations and they talk the whole freaking time. You don't talk during a consultation mostly. You might ask a question, but you let the client talk because you want them to tell you what it is that they want. You want to see where you can fit in and say, oh, okay, I see that she needs to come when it's quiet. You know, so you know, just little stuff in your consultation.